The Carolina Panthers came into Sunday's game with a 4-2 record, an extra week of rest and preparation, and one of the NFL's best players in MVP candidate Christian McCaffrey. This was going to be the toughest test the 49ers had faced all season. On paper. But the 49ers completely dismantled the Panthers with a dazzling array of both offensive and defensive plays. And we're going to take a look at all of them, so let's get right into it. Now, Kyle Shanahan started this game getting his new weapon, Emmanuel Sanders, involved in the game plan right away, and here you see him lined up in the slot. The Panthers have two safeties which are both lined up inside the numbers. Naturally, they have a corner defending Sanders as well, but we've talked about the fact that defenses don't know which routes that the offense is going to be running. So to protect against the threat of a deep route, they all backpedal on the play. When Sanders sees that the corner is playing off, he just turns and running out, and Garoppolo gets him the football, and it's about a 5-yard gain on the play. This play works because it's simply designed to get a few yards to make the third down a manageable one, which the 49ers would go on to convert, and Sanders makes an immediate impact for this football team. Okay, we're going to move ahead in this drive, but before we do that, we're going to take a look at a play I showed you when I did the film breakdown of Emmanuel Sanders. If you remember, we talked about the fact that the corner doesn't know which way Sanders is going to run here. So when Sanders makes a sudden cut to the outside, he gains a lot of separation and is open on the play. The 49ers brought him in to be a red zone threat, and here we're going to see a very similar concept down at the goal line. I circled Emmanuel Sanders in the slot here, and watch as he runs. The defender has no idea where he's going. He gives the defender just a little move to the inside, and when the defender goes that way, Sanders will cut to the outside. Perfect execution, touchdown San Francisco. And we're going to go back and take a look at the other angle, because there's a few more things I want to show you on this play. Okay, now right away we see that Dontari Poe does a great job of sticking his hand up, and he actually tips this football. Watch as it comes off his hand funny here. Now Garoppolo gunned it in there with enough velocity that the play is still a success, and look at the separation that Sanders has from his defender. Outstanding. Red zone threat. That's why they brought him in, and he gets a touchdown right away on the first drive of the game for the 49ers. Now the Panthers get the ball, and they know that they need to respond. Let's see what happens here. Now watch the two receivers at the top of the screen. Sherman's going to take the outside route here, and we notice that there's a very nice handoff here by the 49ers defensive backs. Now the receiver is threatening to make a move to the inside here, and so Sherman gets right up on him, and then as soon as he does that, he will cut to the outside. It's a great move, and he gets open on the play, and Kyle has to throw this ball here, but he takes a good long look because that's not just any corner up there. That's Richard Sherman. He thinks twice, which is deadly in the NFL, and Nick Bosa makes him pay immediately. Now let's go back to the start of the play and watch Nick Bosa this time. Okay, you're going to see him on the right side of the formation in his defensive end position, and he has so much speed and power. He goes to the ground, recovers immediately, and gets the sack on Kyle Allen. He is a freak athletically. We might see a few more examples of that in this game. All right, now the 49ers get the ball back, and here we're going to see the customary early mistake by Garoppolo. Take a look. Luke Kuechly intercepts the ball, one of the best linebackers in the NFL, and let's go back to the snap and take a look and see if we can figure out what happened here. At the bottom of the formation, you're going to see George Kittle. Hey, it's National Tight End Day. Now watch as he runs this route. Okay, so far so good, and you notice he's running on a line parallel to the 40-yard line. And he is supposed to continue running an exact straight line just like that. Instead, he cuts it upfield, and this allows Kuechly to cut underneath the play, so that when Garoppolo throws the football, Kuechly is the one right there. So yes, I am placing some of the blame on Kittle there, but on the other hand, like I said, Kuechly is long known to be one of the best linebackers in the NFL, period. And Garoppolo has to know the personnel on the other side of the formation. Kittle did not have enough separation on that play, and he just can't throw that football. Like with a lot of interceptions, that one came down to multiple errors. Okay, the 49ers get the ball back, and now it's time for Garoppolo to respond. And one thing we've seen all season long is that after a bad play, he responds, and this is no different. The receiver up top is going to run a deep out to the 50-yard line, while Kittle is going to run a corner post. Now, of course, these are exceptionally deep routes, so we're going to take a look at Garoppolo here, and specifically his feet. Count the number of steps with me here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. It's a 7-step drop from under center, which is pretty rare in the modern NFL. Coaches these days would just rather have their quarterback start out in the shotgun. And one of the reasons for this is a 7-step drop from under center gives the defense a chance to generate a pass rush. Here you can see it looks like they have Garoppolo dead to rights. But Garoppolo pulls a Houdini act, gets out of it, and zings the ball way downfield to Kittle for a huge gain on the play. Add an illegal hit by Trey Boston at the end of it, half the distance to the goal. Now let's take a look from this angle. Wow, he gets out of that, and here you can see that even running full speed at the play, Boston is still too far away, and then of course he can't slow up in time, and he hits Kittle up high in the air, which is a penalty. 49ers are in business now, and they get down inside the red zone. And here they run one of their favorite plays with the fake handoff to the running back, and the tight end, faking like he's going to block on the play, sneaks all the way across to the other side of the formation. Now I want you to remember back to our video all the way from week 1 against the Buccaneers, when we talked about the rule that you're not allowed to block downfield before the receiver has the football. And here we see Deebo Samuel doing just that. It's a rookie mistake, he was caught, and it's a penalty. So this touchdown never happened. The 49ers now have to back up to their 20-yard line and try again. Let's see how they handle this situation. Now I've circled guard Laken Tomlinson here, because he is not going to block the defensive tackle right in front of him. He's going to let him go right by, and instead he's going to go into the second level and block Luke Kuechly. The running back Tevin Coleman will just follow behind him all the way into the end zone for a touchdown. Check it out. Wow, that was awesome. But it does beg the question, why didn't the defensive tackle then stop the play in the backfield? Well, let's take a look. And one thing we got to understand is the game situation here. Think about the previous play. The 49ers had just faked the ball to the running back and then thrown all the way across the field to George Kittle. And the defensive tackle is now faced with a situation where he doesn't know if they're actually going to hand the ball off or not. And you can see he's absolutely frozen right here. Over and over again, we hear that Kyle Shanahan is an excellent play caller. And this is just a little example of why. That touchdown would put the 49ers up by a score of 14-3. Now the Panthers get the ball back, and one thing about the 49er defense that you may not know is the 49ers actually have the #1 pass defense in the NFL this year. And here we're going to take a look at corner Emmanuel Moseley, who is just playing outstanding right now. Here you can see the ball is in the air, but Moseley is absolutely all over this route, and it's an interception for the 49ers. Now remember, Moseley stepped in for an injured Akella Witherspoon, and it's just another example of the depth that the 49ers have on this roster. Now when the Panthers intercepted the ball, the 49ers defense did an outstanding job of just limiting them to a field goal. And it is imperative that they do the same to the 49ers here, or else the score is going to be 21-3 in a blink of an eye. Okay, now Garoppolo gets the snap, and right away he's looking over to his right. And when he does that, he moves both the safety and Luke Kuechly over very quickly in that direction. As soon as they move, he comes back to the other side to Tevin Coleman. And now that Kuechly and the safety are out of the play, we see that the 49ers have 3 blockers against only 2 Panthers defenders. Kuechly tries to run back into the play, but he's just too late. And it's a touchdown for the 49ers. Take a look again from this angle. Okay, you see Garoppolo look him off, Kuechly moves, and then he comes back the other way. And you're going to see at the end how he's just so close. That's enough. That's enough to turn the play into a touchdown. Outstanding job by Garoppolo, Tevin Coleman, and all the blockers on the play. It really is a team effort, and that was a spectacular example. Now, you're probably wondering right now, Josh, why are you showing me a kickoff? And I just thought this play was so cool. Here's the kicker, Mitch Wishnowsky, who is also the team's punter, and he absolutely blows up the returner on this play. In fact, he got called for unnecessary roughness. I just think we got to have a rule on this channel. If you're a kicker and you get called for unnecessary roughness, you're getting in the highlight. All right, after a Panthers penalty, they're at midfield, and they've really got to get something going now. But if you take a look, again, we're going to talk about this pass defense. Everybody for the Panthers is covered on the play. Now, with everybody covered, the pass rush is going to force Kyle Allen to run out to his left. And what you're taught as a quarterback is to keep your eyes downfield while you're running. That way, if somebody opens up, you can get them the football. But the pass rush for the 49ers is so strong, Allen probably should have just thrown this ball away here. Just look how suddenly DJ Jones gets upfield and sacks Allen for a big loss on the play. Once he commits, it's over. Man, that's awesome. Okay, now we're going to go back and take a look at one more play from the Emmanuel Sanders breakdown I did earlier. One thing I talked about a few times in that video was his ability to get past the linebacker and then cut into the middle of the field for a reception. Here, we're going to take a look at a very similar play by the 49ers. Okay, let's stop it here. And the Niners have sent a receiver underneath to draw the attention of linebacker Luke Kuechly. And again, as soon as Sanders gets past the linebacker, he cuts into the middle of the field to catch a pass. And we can see that Garoppolo has already started his throwing motion here. This is an excellent job by Kyle Shanahan of understanding his personnel, what their strengths are, and making sure that they are involved in the game plan. And when we talk about Garoppolo and Sanders, their chemistry will improve as they play more together. That ball was a little bit low and to the outside of where Garoppolo expected Sanders to be. The two of them will develop better chemistry, and that pass will be more on target in the future. It was a completion anyway, but the 49ers would end up punting the ball in the drive, and the Panthers would get the ball back, just trying to make something happen before the half here. And again, we see that all the receivers for Carolina are covered. Remember, the Niners have the #1 pass defense in the NFL. And they have a ferocious pass rush. When you have all the receivers covered, that pass rush is going to get home. And Allen goes down again. Yeah, the defensive tackles are all celebrating, and the 49ers are feeling it right now. Take another look. And you can see it's Eric Armstead having a career year. All right, 2 minutes to go in the half. The 49ers have the ball, and the Panthers have got to stop them because they get the ball back to start the second half. And then this happens. Tevin Coleman, untouched for a 48-yard touchdown. Are you kidding me? Let's go back to the snap. All right, here we see guard Mike Person is going to pull to his left. In fact, the center, Weston Richburg, is going to do the same. In fact, the Panthers all think that the play is going to go left here, and the defensive tackle wants to go in that direction, so right tackle Daniel Brunskill is more than happy to let him. And this forms kind of a wall in the middle of the field there, and Tevin Coleman's going to take a step to the left to sell it, and then cut back to the right, and he is going to be off to the races. Now on the right side, you see that Deebo Samuel is making a great block on the last person that has a chance to tackle Tevin Coleman here, and he is gone. Great blocking up front. Outstanding play by the offensive line. And the 49ers, who have arguably the best running game in football, have taken a commanding 27-3 lead with just about a minute to go before the half. Carolina is desperate to just get a field goal something, but Nick Bosa puts a quick end to that idea with an emphatic sack on Kyle Allen. Let's go back to the snap because we're going to see two things here. One, all the receivers are covered by that number one pass defense again, and the left tackle was simply no match for Nick Bosa on the play. Allen is just getting crushed by the 49er defense here. And now it's 3rd and 22, and they're going to try again. And again, the 49er defense gets home for another sack. Let's go back to the snap. Now this one is pretty cool. The first thing we notice is that there's a running back over on that side of the formation, and his job is to just slow down Nick Bosa a little bit and then run out into the formation and try to catch a pass. Now in this case, that doesn't work because Nick Bosa and DeForest Buckner are going to run a stunt, which is a terrifying thought. And if you're not sure what that is what that means is instead of just rushing the guy directly in front of you like this, they're actually going to switch places like this. Now this can actually confuse the defensive line a little bit. Take a look here. DeForest Buckner almost gets home, and then Nick Bosa cleans up the play. This might be the best defensive line in all of football. All right, time to skip ahead to the third quarter now. The Panthers come out after the half. They have to punt, and you may wonder, why are you showing me a punt? Well, this is actually a really great punt. Check this out. Okay, the ball goes out of bounds right around the 2 or 3 yard line here, and that will affect the 49ers. And we're going to take a look at that in just a second. Okay, now one thing I haven't talked about yet in this game is the wind. Take a look at the flag on the goalpost here at the bottom. It was actually quite a windy day at Levi's, and it made it difficult to throw the football. All right, it's a great punt. The 49ers are backed up against their own end zone. And I said that this would affect them. Now let's take a look and see how. Here at the bottom of the screen, you're going to see Bruce Irvin. And he absolutely smokes Jeff School on the play. I guess we'll call Irvin Ryan Clark 2.0 because after the game he had some very unflattering things to say about the 49ers despite getting blown out 51-13 in this game. But you know, I'm happy for Bruce Irvin. He finally had a good game against a fourth string tackle. All right. The Panthers get 2 points for the safety, and now they get the ball on offense again. And we talked before about Christian McCaffrey being a potential MVP candidate, and there he goes. You can't stop him. You can only hope to contain him. He's probably the best running back in the NFL right now, and he goes 64 yards for the touchdown. Now, I don't want to take anything away from McCaffrey, but if you take a look on this play, you can see Quan Alexander is getting held pretty blatantly by DJ Moore here, and there's no call from the officials. The Panthers would also convert the 2-point conversion, meaning they've scored 10 consecutive points here. The score is now 27-13. It's a 2-score game. But just like we talked about before, whenever there's a bad play, Garoppolo responds. You can see the wind whipping those flags around up in the air there. Now, the Panthers are feeling it. They're trying to come back on offense. How do you take advantage of them? You know they're going to be aggressive on defense. So here you're going to see the entire offensive line flow to their right, and Tevin Coleman will head in that direction. And as expected, the Carolina Panthers do a pretty good job of stringing this play out, and it looks like they might be in position to make a play on the ball carrier. And then at the last second, the 49ers reverse it to Deebo Samuel, who takes it all the way for a first down. That is awesome. Perfect play calling again by Shanahan. And when we take a look from this angle, check out our boy Jimmy Garoppolo, fresh off the ACL tear and all, throwing a block downfield for Deebo. That is awesome. Team effort. This entire team is all in. All right, next play. Garoppolo takes the snap, and he looks to his right, and he doesn't like what he sees. The receiver is covered, so he's going to come back to his left. And when we come back to our left, what we notice is that the Panthers have made a little mistake. They have 2 defenders focusing on 1 receiver, and absolutely nobody's going to be covering George Kittle way down the field. That's a terrible mistake. Garoppolo sees it. Now remember, this safety is not actually there because he's backpedaling on the play. Jimmy zips him the football, And then check out Kittle fighting for extra yards on National Tight End Day. The 49ers are just hitting on all cylinders. Now check out the pass protection here that Jimmy has to make his reads and then get that football way down the field. And remember, it's a windy day. These are some impressive throws that we're seeing. Now this is a nice drive, but remember, it's still a 2-score game at this point. So this is a huge third down in the ball game. And here we see that Deebo Samuel gets right up in the face of the defender, and then he cuts to the inside very suddenly, and Garoppolo gets him the football. Deebo is healthy, he's getting more snaps, and he is looking like the weapon we all knew he was going to be. Once again, check out this pass protection. Perfect throw, right on time, biggest first down in the ballgame. And here we see the genius of Kyle Shanahan. They put a man in motion, but then they hand the ball off underneath to Deebo Samuel, and he's going to take it untouched all the way to the end zone for a touchdown. Wow. Now this was a dazzling array of motions here, so let's go back to the snap and take a look at everything. All right, Mike Person and Dan Brunskill are going to double team the defensive tackle here. George Kittle is going to pick up the linebacker, the outside linebacker. And nobody is going to pick up the defensive end. At least not yet. You see, when the motion man goes by him, he's going to be kind of stuck looking at that motion, and then they do pull the left guard around to pick him up finally. Deebo will just come around behind all of them and take it into the end zone. This is great blocking. Here you see the two receivers to the left and right of Garoppolo, and then Coleman behind him. Does that technically make this a T formation? Shanahan's taking a play from the Frankie Albert days and adding in a motion so that when Deebo gets the ball, he gets it at full speed and goes untouched. Unbelievable. All right, it's 34-3 now. Allen drops back to pass, and here we see the ball in flight. Now the receiver doesn't know that, right? So he's going to continue cutting across the formation. For some reason, Allen thought he was going to sit instead. Well, I'll tell you who does see that ball, and that's Richard Sherman. And he just sits up and catches an easy interception. This is his third interception of the year, and Richard Sherman might be Pro Bowl bound. Now, what I love most about this is Richard Sherman doesn't just run out of bounds here. He stays in bounds. He was trying to fight for extra yardage there. The whole team does that, and I absolutely love it. Okay, after the interception, take a look at the top of the screen here. George Kittle is one-on-one against Eric Reed, and you have to take that matchup. Reed has no choice but to just pull him down, and that's pass interference in the end zone. Take another look. Now, when there's interference in the end zone, by rule, you get the ball at the 1-yard line, and the 49ers are just going to punch it in. Now, I've almost lost track here, but the score is 41-13. We're still in the third quarter. Are you kidding me? All right, Panthers get the ball. They're at midfield, and we're going to take a look at Nick Bosa here. And what they teach you as a defensive end is if you can't get home to the quarterback, stick your hands up in the air. You might deflect the pass. Bosa does just that, and he comes down with the football, makes Allen miss, and he is off to the races. Now the wide receiver, the angle and the speed, he makes Allen miss again, and they just bring him down at the 10-yard line. This is an amazing play from Nick Bosa, who had 3 sacks and an interception all in the same game. The last player to do that was Lawrence Taylor in 1982. The Niners would tack on a field goal, making the score 44-13, and now the Panthers are in total desperation mode here. This is getting out of hand. It's a 4th down and 12. The backups for the 49ers are in the game, and they still get home to Kyle Allen. Ronald Blair gets home for the 49ers. Yes, he's, I guess you could say, technically a backup, but probably good enough to be starting for other teams, and it's just another example of the depth the 49ers have on this roster. Nick Mullins takes over at quarterback. Jeff Mostert takes over at running back. The Panthers still have their starting defense in there, and it doesn't matter. Mostert takes it all the way down for another touchdown, and the 49ers have put up 50 on the Carolina Panthers. Take a look. Now, in the middle of the screen, you're going to see Luke Kuechly here, and he gets mesmerized by the motion instead of watching the backfield. Mostert goes right by, makes a safety miss, and the Niners absolutely blow out the Panthers 51-13. That would be your final score. Now, again, this was a game where the Panthers were supposed to be a tough test for the 49ers, and the 49ers have, well, they didn't even ace the test. They saw right through it. They obliterated them. I know this was a long video. There were so many spectacular plays. I had to show them all. I want to say thank you to all my new subscribers. The 49ers have a short week this week. They're playing Arizona on Thursday. In Arizona, by the way. And for that reason, I worked all day to get this video to you guys early so that you could enjoy it before that Cardinals matchup. It's a division game. It's a big one for the 49ers. And after that, they get an 11-day break before they take on the Seattle Seahawks on Monday Night Football. Thanks, everyone, again. I will see you guys after the Arizona game on Thursday. Hit that like. If you did like this video, go ahead and share it. Thank you again. Go ahead and comment. I read all the comments. You guys are awesome, and I will see you then.